Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect 2. My name is Pete and today we finally complete another recruitment mission, specifically the one for our former crew member Tali. In the last episode we stormed a missile base that had been taken over by a group of Batarian terrorists, but that mission was quickly completed and I think it is now time for something a bit more relevant to the game's main storyline. All that we know so far is that Tali is currently on a classified assignment for the Quarian migrant fleet on the planet Haestrom, which lies deep within Geth-controlled space. So we can already take a guess at the type of mission this is going to be, and since we don't have any dialogues or research projects to complete before we get going, let's take the Normandy over to the Far Rim cluster right away.
Thane would like to speak with you, Commander.
Now we arrive in the Dolan system, but before we scout this one out, we can make a quick stop in the Ma'at system. Now, one very important thing to note, there is no fuel depot in this cluster. With our current reserves we should be fine, but anything less than about 500 units might be problematic. In this system here there is only one planet, the gas giant Amut, and if it wasn't for my completionist urge we would probably not visit this one at all. The mineral deposits are fairly meager, the planet also doesn't have any interesting backstory, and additionally it's in Geth space, so there is really no reason to stick around longer than we have to. And with that we can travel back to the Dolan system and begin our tour here, starting with Kairum, not quite sure. Mineral-wise, this one is also not too interesting, but it's actually a Geth stronghold with up to 10,000 of their ships traveling to and from this planet. Once again, no need to hang around, so let's continue with the dwarf planet Gotha, close to the system's sun. There are no reports of Geth on Gotha, and from a mineral perspective the planet is also much more lucrative, holding vast amounts of palladium as well as some element zero. However, mining is not what we came here for, so let's head over to Haestrom. There was once a Quarian colony on this planet, but it was eventually taken over by the Geth, and to this day Haestrom is crawling with them, which makes it a somewhat curious place for Tali to be. Still, if our intel is correct, she is somewhere down there, so all we can do is follow her planet side. For our squad we will take Garrus, I think that's a nice touch considering how he's the only other squad member from Mass Effect 1, and we will double down on the anti-Geth powers with our tech expert Kasumi. For a lack of squad points, no one will receive any ability upgrades at this time, and our weapon loadout will also remain as it is, and so we are already good to go.
Shepard, our data indicates that Tali is somewhere in these ruins. There is considerable Geth activity and an environmental hazard. Solar output has overwhelmed Haestrom's protective magnetosphere. Exposure to direct sunlight will damage your shields.
Alright, welcome to Haestrom. As you can see, not the most hospitable place in the galaxy. Direct sunlight is to be avoided, otherwise our shields eventually deplete.
I'm having serious issues with my shields.
I'm wearing black. Can we get in the shade, please?
Our shields are the only thing affected by the sun, however, it does conveniently not damage our health. Right, it appears as if Tali is not alone and that she has found or might still be looking for valuable data. For now though, we can only grab credits from a medkit and a damaged Geth and then open the gate into the next area.
I'm on it! Incoming dropship.
At this point, it also makes a lot of sense to switch over to the sniper rifle, because our arrival has apparently not gone unnoticed and a Geth dropship is now sending in the first wave of enemies. With a decent amount of distance between us and the Geth, we currently have an advantage, and we're also loaded up on anti-tech powers with not one but two overloads thanks to Garrus and Kasumi, as well as with disruptor ammo on Shepard himself. Our opposition, meanwhile, only consists of regular Geth troopers with a weak layer of shields, however, all of them possess the shield boost ability, which allows them to strengthen or fully replenish their shields. And because of that ability, it's generally a good idea to focus on one Geth at a time and take them out one after the other, otherwise we might end up having to get rid of their shields multiple times if we leave them with enough time to recover. Once the first wave is down, a few more stragglers will appear, but those are quickly taken out as well, and we can head for the ramp on our right side. Staying on the ground would expose us to too much direct sunlight, while up here we have some shade, but also more enemies. Again, the sunlight cannot kill us outright, unlike the environmental hazards in Mass Effect 1, but going into a fight against numerous Geth without shields is still definitely not a smart idea. Up on the walkway here we can also neutralize their high ground advantage, and with a sniper rifle we can reliably land hits despite the fact that there is not too much open ground up here. Whenever we can, we want to move up to trigger more enemies, all the while keeping an eye on our companions. As you probably know, pathfinding in this game is all but perfect, and it might happen that our squad members pick a spot that is right in the sun, and just like Shepard, their shields will suffer as a result. Again, on the walkway here, it's a little easier to avoid that, but it can still happen. Once no more enemies are appearing, we want to take a turn to the right here, grab some credits from the medical station and head down the stairs for a very valuable pistol upgrade.
This is valuable.
From here we could now proceed on the ground, but having the high ground has never hurt anyone, and again the sun is also still a factor, so we're going right back up. Apart from a ton of ammunition, we also soon find our next group of hostiles, and being a few meters above them definitely makes a difference. Next to the Geth troopers, we also encounter 2 rocket troopers down here, and as usual, those should be taken out first.
On my way.
Affirmative.
All in all though, this last group does not offer too much resistance, and so we can quickly grab the iridium container from the crane here before we move on. One more lone Geth trooper now stands in our way, but that's not really a challenge at this point. Around the corner we then run into 2 more, and it seems like they have also already encountered someone else.
This is squad leader Kal'Reegar. Do you copy? Geth sent a dropship towards up 2. Tali is secure, but we need backup. We're bunkered up here. Can you send support?
Alright, we hear a radio call from Quarian squad leader Kal'Reegar, and we'll answer that in a second. For now though, we have already looted 6,000 credits off of the destroyed Geth Hunter, and we can also get our hands on the Tempest SMG. At least for our squad members, this SMG is slightly better than the M12 Locust we picked up in Kasumi's loyalty mission, and Shepard can't use it anyway, so it's a great pickup and completes our SMG collection. Once acquired, we can then answer the Quarian radio and see if there's anything we can do to help.
Op 1, this is squad leader Kal'Reegar. Come in, over.
The conversation starts off with an immediate morality choice, and we're looking for solutions, not for chances to state the obvious problem, so let's offer our help for 2 Paragon points.
This is Commander Shepard of the Normandy. Can we provide assistance?
Patch your radio into channel 617 Theta. We're on a stealth mission, high risk. We found what we were after. The Geth found us. They've got us pinned down. Can't get to our ship. Can't transmit data through the solar radiation.
Alright, time to learn a bit more about why the Quarians are here in the first place, because like I said earlier, a planet crawling with Geth and in the spotlight of a brutally hot sun, that doesn't strike me as the ideal place to go on an expedition.
What brought you this deep into Geth-controlled space?
You're asking the wrong person, Shepard. I just point and shoot. Something about the sun. It's going bad faster than it should. Some kind of energy problem.
Well, the sun is definitely bad, we already experienced that firsthand. Let's ask about the Geth next, although to be honest, their arrival is not really a surprise considering where we are.
Any idea where the Geth came from?
One of their patrol ships found us. Dropships started raining Geth down on our heads before we could get off world. Systems under Geth control. We knew they made planetary sweeps periodically. We hoped going low emission
Do we have to worry about the Geth sending in reinforcements?
I don't think so. Their patrol ship hasn't lifted off again. The radiation blocks all off-world communication.
So, time to assess the situation. We already picked this radio off of a Quarian corpse, so how many of their soldiers are actually still left?
What's the status of your team? How many of you are left?
We were a small squad, dozen Marines plus the science team. We're down to half strength now. Made the synthetic bastards pay for it, though.
Okay, 2 more Paragon points can be had here for asking about the current status of Kal'Reegar's team, and before we rush into help, it definitely can't hurt to learn all we can about the ongoing fight.
How are you holding up? We can be there in a few minutes.
Take it slow and careful. Direct sunlight fries your shields all to hell. We're bunkered down at base camp across the valley. I left Tali at a secure shelter that doubled back to hold the choke point. Getting Tali out safely is our top priority. If you can extract her, we'll keep them off you.
And as much as it may hurt to ask this, it is a very important question indeed. Is Tali actually still alive, or are we about to risk our skin to extract a corpse?
You've got confirmation that the Geth haven't reached Tali yet?
Affirmative. Left my best men with her. When you get here, you can talk to her on the comm. Every Marine on this rock is sworn to protect Tali. As long as one of us is still drawing air, she'll be safe.
Sounds like quite the commitment if you ask me, but we had our fair share of almost hopeless missions as well, so we won't judge, at least not too much.
You're gonna throw your life away for research?
Negative. I give my life for the migrant fleet, all the difference in the world. I'm no tech expert, Shepard. I'm a Marine. They tell me to shoot. I shoot. They said to protect Tali and the data. You get them out safe. I've done my job.
Alright, and with that we can only tell Kal'Reegar to stay put. From here on out it's up to us to change the tide of this battle.
Hold position. We'll hit their back ranks.
Wait, watch your ass. We got a dropship coming in. Charges in the buildings nearby. Use them to clear a path. Coming in through the side. I gotta fall back.
Shepard, I have scanned the area and located the demolition charges the Quarian commander mentioned.
Put it on my radar.
You will need both sets of charges to clear the rubble.
ED now informs us that there are demolition charges nearby, 2 of them to be exact, and so it is now up to us to grab those and to clear our path to the Quarians. Before we can do that, however, we have more Geth to defeat, including our first Geth Hunter, a unit that can cloak and go more or less invisible. Tali's Shadow Strike is an excellent ability for this enemy though, as it knocks the Hunter down onto the ground, leaving us with plenty of time to finish it off. Now the first demolition charge is in that garage over there on the left. Unsurprisingly, it is guarded by more Geth, and this time the numbers are fairly respectable. Still, with a sniper rifle and a steady aim, we can pick most of them off before they get too close. As a matter of fact, we could probably clear out the entire garage this way, because the enemy will just continue to come out of the building one after the other, but where would be the fun in that? So, after a few shots, we can move in a little closer and take out the rest of the Geth inside of the garage. Once again, there is a single Geth Hunter among them, but since it appears only alongside the last few remaining enemies, it does not pose as much of a threat as it potentially could if all of the enemies were to rush at us simultaneously. After a few minutes of fighting, the place is then cleared out and we can take a tour. Before we grab the demo charges, however, let's listen to the first of several of Tali's journal entries here, which shed a bit more light on the Quarians' mission.
We need a core sample to get a timeline on the rate of radiation increase, but our equipment keeps dying on us. Shepard once used a mining laser to clear some rubble back on there. Maybe I can do something similar with demolition charges.
Speaking of which, after grabbing the contents of 2 medkits, we can take the first charge and leave again. A second one still needs to be acquired before we can do anything about the rubble blocking our path. As soon as we get close to the exit, more Geth drop in, including a powerful Geth Prime with shields and armor. Its companions are quickly defeated, but the Prime itself requires quite a lot of firepower to take down. Luckily, it seems to have a deep aversion against any sort of cover, so we can just fire away from our relatively safe position and then send in Kasumi for the kill.
Affirmative.
Gotcha.
Now, the next group of enemies, as well as the second demolition charge, is down to the left of our current position. Once again, we have a bit of a height advantage here, and large parts of the area ahead of us are exposed to direct sunlight, so it's a good idea to stay right where we are and take out the Geth from here. There is a single Geth destroyer among them, which is a little stronger than the Geth Hunter, but not as dangerous as the Prime, although it has both a flamethrower and a rocket launcher at its disposal. Luckily though, flamethrower units in this game carry around fuel tanks, and with a bit of luck those can be used to instantly kill them once their shields are down. What remains are a few Geth troopers, including a very lonely one further in the back. All in all, that's nothing that we can't manage. Once the fight is over, we can head up the walkway here, both to stay away from the sun and also to listen to another journal entry.
It's next to impossible to get accurate solar measurements. The radiation keeps burning out our equipment. This sun shouldn't be like this. It was stable a few hundred years ago. Stars don't die that quickly.
You got it.
Sure thing.
Going down the walkway, we end up in a small room with a medical station and shutter controls, which can be used to open up a very convenient firing position that we have no need for, at least not right now. So let's head downstairs, which neatly circumvents the sunny area outside and would also allow us to flank any enemies hiding over here, but again we took all of them out already, so all we can find is another iridium container. The demo charges are then hidden in this small room here in the back, alongside a crate of power cells and another med station.
Moving to cover.
Understood.
Once we have everything, it's time to make our way towards that rubble blocking the path, but once again we can't get there without fighting our way through another wave of Geth. This time we even have 2 rocket troopers on the walkway, and those can be very annoying, so let's take them out first. The rest of the enemies will then close in fairly quickly, and they also have another destroyer in their ranks, which is best taken care of as soon as possible to avoid it blasting fire in our face.
Taking too much fire. We head to the left. Flank them.
Kasumi's Shadow Strike is once again a huge help here because it can knock down even this large enemy, giving us a bit of time to take out some of the weaker Geth troopers. Now, normally the best tactic in this fight is to rush straight for the walkway ourselves to get a bit of elevation, but as you can see, we actually did a good enough job and avoided being swarmed. We still have a few enemies left and we could now get up on the walkway to take them out, but over this distance having the high ground is not that much of an advantage. As the last Geth trooper falls, we are finally done with this area and can return to the rubble, grab the 3rd crate of iridium in this mission and prepare for the explosion.
Charges a go. Move it or lose it. You got it.
Affirmative. On your 6.
Right behind you.
And here we are, the path is clear, let's see where it leads us. The first thing we meet is a Geth we can put out of its misery, before we then salvage a ton of credits off of another one.
Quarian architecture. There's two words you don't expect to hear together.
This deep behind Geth lines? Hope the Quarians got what they were looking for.
We can also obtain an assault rifle damage upgrade here, as well as even more credits at the third and final of Tali's journal entries.
Our ancestors walked these halls with uncovered heads. The sun must have been normal back then. So much space, walls of stone. It's amazing. I wish my friends could see it. I wish Shepard were here.
Well, he is, and she's about to find out in just a moment.
Tali's order to base camp. Come in, base camp.
Yep, that's her right there, but before we talk to her, let's quickly bypass the safe here for the third big pile of cash in this building.
Tali's order to base camp. Come in, base camp.
6,000 credits more in our account, and I would say it is now time to speak to Tali and see what we can do about the Geth.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Just like the radio call earlier, this conversation also starts out with a chance for morality points, so let's make the introductions and grab 2 Paragon points in the process.
Tali, it's Shepard. I'm sorry. Everyone here is dead. Any survivors must have fallen back.
We knew this mission was high risk. Damn it. And what are you doing here, Shepard? We're in the middle of Geth space.
And I don't think it's necessary to inform her about our recruitment efforts at this point, so let's simply offer our help and obtain 2 more Paragon points for that.
I was in the neighborhood. I thought you might need a hand.
Thanks for coming, Shepard. It means a lot to hear your voice. Kal'Reegar and what's left of the Marines got me into the observatory. From where you are, it's through the door and across the field. I got the data I needed and I'm safe for now, but I've got a lot of Geth outside.
Okay, seems like both Shepard and Tali are safe enough to ask a few questions, most importantly about Tali's mission on Haestrom, because all that we know by now is that it has something to do with the sun.
What's this research you're after?
It's about this world's sun. It's aging faster than it should. I can tell you more about it once we've got fewer Geth shooting at us.
Alright, now we have heard from Kal'Reegar earlier, but things may have changed in the meantime, and it could not hurt to learn whether or not we can rely on some backup before we proceed.
Is anyone else still with you, or are you alone out there?
Rieger had a team of Marines covering me when I ran for the observatory. At least some of them are still alive. I can hear them firing at the Geth outside.
Now, we also have a brand new ship in orbit around the planet, which we might be able to use to clear out some of the Geth. But again, Tali is probably better suited to assess such an approach.
Would it help if I brought in the Normandy?
Doubtful. These buildings are centuries old. If you bring down heavy fire, this whole place could collapse on us.
Okay, seems like we will have to move on foot, however, there is still one slight problem.
It looks like somebody sealed the door against the Geth and the console is damaged. Can you get it open on your end?
Let me see. Yes, I can do it. Here. Should be unlocked now. Be careful, Shepard, and please do what you can to keep Rieger alive.
Alright, the door is open, we obtain 4 Paragon points and can grab some credits from the med station over here. Heading down the stairs, we now run into a pair of recon drones, but with double overloads they go down immediately. Now we rush into cover and await the arrival of the first larger swarm of drones, accompanied by a Geth Prime. However, despite it being by far the most dangerous enemy in the group, we want to focus all of our attention on taking out the drones. And the reason for that approach is this. These groups of drones will continue to spawn until we reach the other end of the area. The faster we get there, the less drones we have to worry about, and getting stuck on a Geth Prime would only slow us down.
Here we go.
Coincidentally, by reaching that end of the area, we can also prevent the second Geth Prime that normally spawns from appearing, probably because the first one has not yet been defeated. All in all, yes, this is definitely a risky way to tackle this fight, and we can more or less expect one or even both of our squad members to go down, but once we get to the end and can take cover behind the vehicle here, we are pretty much in the clear. All we have to do now is to take out the one Prime that is left. The drones meanwhile have stopped spawning, and the other Prime never had a chance to actually set foot on the battlefield.
Coming!
And that's this area taken care of as well. Time to proceed through the door here and to get to work on the wall safe, which rewards us with 6,000 credits. And once we have those, we can then lift the security lockdown to open our path onwards.
Oh God, Colossus!
Shut down! Definitely like old times.
Yep, just like old times indeed. Let's get a move on, grab the medkit and the ammunition down here, and meet a somewhat unexpected ally.
Squad Leader Kal'Reegar, Migrant Fleet Marines. We talked on the radio before that dropship arrived. I still got no idea why you're here. This ain't the time to be picky. Tali's inside over there. The Geth killed the rest of my squad, and they're trying to get to her. Best I've been able to do is draw their attention.
And for the third straight time, we can lead off by grabbing Paragon points, 2 of them to be exact, for expressing our concern about Tali's safety. Understandable, I think, considering the opposition.
Are you sure she's still alive?
The observatory is reinforced. Even the Geth will need time to get through it. And it's hard to hack a door when someone's firing rockets at you. The Geth are near platoon strength, but the Colossus is the worst part. It's got a repair protocol. Huddles up and fixes itself. I can't get a clear shot while it's down like that. I tried to move in closer, and one of the bastards punched a shot clean through my suit.
Now, it seems like no battle is heated enough to not ask a few questions, and that suit rupture sounds dangerous, so let's make sure that Kal'Reegar won't have any issues with it.
How bad is your suit damaged?
Combat seals clamped down to isolate contamination, and I'm swimming in antibiotics. The Geth might get me, but I'm not gonna die from an infection in the middle of a battle. That's just insulting.
It also looks like Reegar has been here for a while, so he can probably tell us a bit more about the layout of the battlefield. After all, every advantage we can get is valuable.
What can you tell me about the battlefield?
Right side's got a catwalk with a sniper perch. You could wreak some havoc from there, but none of my men made it past the Geth. The middle's got cover, but the damn Colossus has a clear shot at you the whole time, and you've got Geth coming in from both sides. The left gives you some cover from the Colossus, but your ass is hanging out for the Geth. That's how I got shot.
Right, sounds like we have to choose a path, but maybe we can also do something about the Colossus before we dive headfirst into the fight.
Any ideas on how to deal with the Colossus?
Standard protocol with armature-class units is to sabotage the shields and whittle it down, you know? Kill it with bug bites. But the repair protocol blows that plan to hell. You try to wear it down, it just huddles up and fixes itself. So whatever we do has to scrap that bastard fast. Probably means getting up close, past that cover.
Okay, getting close won't be easy, but if that's what we'll have to do, then we'll try to do it. Before we get going though, let's coordinate our approach with Reegar, just to make sure that we're on the same page.
We need to get to Tali. Got any ideas?
Just one! I'm not moving so well, but I can still pull a trigger, and I got a rocket launcher that the sun hasn't fried yet. You move in close. I'll keep the Colossus busy, maybe even drop its shields. With luck, you'll be able to finish it off.
Alright, morality time. We definitely do not need the Quarian to sacrifice himself here just for a slight tactical advantage, especially not with an already damaged suit, so let's tell him to stay down for 2 Paragon points. More will come in just a second.
You've done enough, Reegar. You don't need to throw your life away.
Wasn't asking your permission. My job is to keep Tali safe. This is our best shot.
We don't have enough people on our side for you to take one for the team. Stand down.
I'm not gonna stand there while you run into enemy fire. They killed my whole squad.
And if you want to honor your squad, watch my back. I need you here in case they bring reinforcements.
All right, Shepard. We'll do it your way. Hit him for me. Keep us alive.
Right, here we go. The Paragon interruption ensures that Reegar won't do anything stupid, and we can focus on the fight at hand. For our approach, we will take the path on the right, but before we can run up the ramp, it's a good idea to clear out at least a few of the enemies guarding this side. There is also a single trooper on the walkway up here, and taking it out before we go up gives us a bit more safety as well. Then it's time to make a move. Our squad members will stay back while we dash into the nearest cover. Getting hit by the Colossus would not be fatal at this point, but it still does a lot of damage, while we are not close enough yet to take it out, and with more Geth troopers incoming, we also have more pressing concerns, I would say. The sniper rifle is an excellent choice for this path, as it allows us to eliminate many of the enemies before they can get into a dangerous firing range, and this spot right here is also very well suited for the time being, as it is completely in the shade, which can unfortunately not be said for the majority of this walkway. For that reason, we have to stay as far to the left as possible, and even there we only receive cover from the sun as long as we are crouched. Every time we stand up to take a shot, the sun will damage our shields, provided of course we still have them in the first place. Now, after taking out several troopers, a Geth destroyer will appear. However, because we managed to quickly get rid of most of its companions, we can also focus on the destroyer right away, and with a well-placed shot we can not only kill it, but also cause some damage to the troops around it. As you can see, by now Garrus has joined us on the walkway. Him and Kasumi did a formidable job holding the line with Rieger while we clear the path, but now all of us can take a position on this lovely sniper nest right here, which puts us in an excellent position to finally take out the Colossus. Getting to this point also ensures that the Colossus won't use its repair protocol to replenish its shields, which it would do if we were further away. Apart from that though, there is really not that much to say here strategy-wise. If we had enough ammo for a shot with the M920 Kane, that would of course be fantastic, but we don't, and rockets or grenades don't actually do that much more damage compared to our sniper rifle, so let's simply use that to chip away at the enemy's shields. We'll use overloads whenever we can, and having two of those available definitely makes things a bit easier, but still it takes a while until we have exposed the armor. For that, we will then make the switch over to Inferno ammo, and at this point we are very close to the end. Its armor can only withstand a few shots before collapsing, and so even though Kasumi just went down, we are about to emerge victorious here. And there we are, Colossus down, the Geth are defeated, at least for now.
Just a second. I locked the door to keep more Geth from getting inside. There, that should do it.
Now Tali has just unlocked the door that kept her safe, but before we go in to greet her, we have to collect a few things. Next to the medkit up on the sniper's nest, we also have 2 crates of power cells in this back area here, which during the fight are of course only moderately useful, considering how close they are to the Colossus itself. We can also find a grand total of 4 more iridium containers spread across the battlefield, neatly tucked away on these crane-like machines. Trying to grab those during the heat of the battle is probably also not a smart idea, as they require a lot of running across open ground, and large parts of that ground are also exposed to direct sunlight, so it's definitely better to wait until the fight is over to collect these. Once we have everything though, we can return to the door that Tali just opened and reunite with our former squad member.
Just let me finish this download.
Well, in a few seconds at least. First we can grab another 9,000 credits off of the Geth here, and then we can obtain a very special weapon from the one behind it, the Geth Pulse Rifle. Now, this weapon is unique, not only because it's the first piece of Geth technology we can use on the battlefield, but also because it can only be obtained if this mission is completed on either the hardcore or the insanity difficulty setting. Anything below that and the weapon will not appear, which is a shame considering how it's a very fun weapon to use, mainly because of its insane firing rate and its stopping power against shields. However, we are of course not here only to collect that weapon, so let's finally have a chat with Tali now.
Thank you, Shepard. If not for you, I would never have made it out of this room. This whole mission has been a disaster. I wish I'd joined you back on Freedom's Progress, but I couldn't let anyone take my place on something this risky.
And now that we have a few moments, we can dig a little deeper regarding her research here on Haestrom. Maybe she can tell us what she found out and whether or not the lives that were lost along the way were worth it in the end.
What can you tell me about your research here?
Haestrom's sun is destabilizing. Back when this was a Quarian colony, it was a normal star. It shouldn't change that quickly.
Any idea what's destabilizing the sun?
If I had to guess, I'd say that it was dark energy affecting the interior of the star. The effect is similar to when stars blow off mass to enter a red giant phase, but Haestrom's sun is far too young for this to be natural.
A lot of Quarians lost their lives here. Was it worth it?
I don't know, Shepard. It wasn't my call. The Admiralty Board believed the information here was worth sacrificing all our lives for. I have to believe that they know what's best.
I didn't ask what some admiral thought. I asked what you thought.
A lot of people died here. Some of them were my friends. All of them were good at their jobs. That damn data better be worth it. The price was too high.
Alright, now we did come here to make Tali another offer to join our crew after she wasn't able to do that the last time we met her in Freedom's Progress. And it seems like this right here is the right moment to bring that up again, which will also give us 2 more Paragon points.
Whatever the reason, I'm glad I could help. Once you deliver that data, I could use you on the Normandy.
I promised to see this mission through. I did. I can leave with you and send the data to the fleet. And if the admirals have a problem with it, they can go to hell. I just watched the rest of my team die.
Maybe not the whole rest of your team, ma'am.
Rieger, you made it.
Your old captain's as good as you said. Geth Colossus never stood a chance.
And thanks to our Paragon interruption earlier, Kal'Reegar did not put himself into harm's way and survived the mission, and we can earn 2 additional Paragon points here and offer transportation.
If need be, the Normandy can get you out of here, Rieger.
The Geth didn't damage our ship. As long as we get out of here before reinforcements show up, we'll be fine.
Actually, I won't be going with you. I'm joining Commander Shepard.
I'll pass the data to the Admiralty Board and let them know what happened. She's all yours now, Shepard. Keep her safe.
Alright, here we are. We have successfully recruited Tali to our crew and unlocked the Quarian achievement. We also make it to level 19, only 11 more to go until we reach the maximum level of 30. We bring back some valuable goods from this mission, most notably the Tempest SMG, which will now be the go-to submachine gun for everyone who can use it, as well as the Geth Pulse Rifle, which we will probably have some fun with in the next episodes. We also picked up damage upgrades for both the assault rifle and the pistol, so we have some research to do as well once we're back on the Normandy. Now for the credits, even though it says here that we receive 69,000, we do in fact only get 60,000 due to a bug. However, that is still a lot of cash, and we also get 2,000 units of iridium, so all in all I would say this mission was more than worth it.
Cerberus saw footage of you in action, Tali-Zora. We're looking forward to having you on the team. Your engineering expertise will really benefit the mission.
I don't know who you are, but Cerberus threatened the security of the migrant fleet. Don't make nice.
Right, we have 2 more morality decisions to make before the mission is done, and unsurprisingly Tali has some concerns about Cerberus. And since Cerberus has not yet exactly turned their image around completely, we will side with her in this conversation for a total of 4 Paragon points over 2 dialogue choices.
That's why you're here, Tali. I need people who aren't Cerberus. People I can trust.
I wasn't part of what happened to the migrant fleet, but I understand your distrust. I hope we'll get past that as we work together.
I assumed that you were undercover, Shepard. Maybe even planning to blow Cerberus up. If that's the case, I'll loan you a grenade. Otherwise, I'm here for you, not for them.
If it helps, check out the Normandy while you're here. We've gotten a few upgrades.
I'll get Tali-Zora the necessary security clearance to access our systems.
Please do. I can't be part of your team if I don't know how the ship works. Remember, Shepard, these people thought enslaving Thorian creepers and Rachni was a good idea. I'll be in engineering.
Don't forget to introduce yourself to Edie, the ship's new artificial intelligence.
And here we are, we have another squad member. This playthrough is getting 1 step closer towards full completion, and after about 40 minutes of action, I would say we have reached a good point to make the cut. In the next episode, we will of course have another conversation with Tali herself, and we will probably also embark on the next loyalty mission, or at least complete another small assignment, depending on what's more convenient. For today though, we can wrap things up right here. As always, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you want to support me and my channel further, then feel free to subscribe to stay up to date, or check out and maybe pledge to the Peak Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.